Okay, the title of my presentation is Increasing Message Efficiency for Line Stickers with Logic for the Line Public Account Delivery. I'm Koki Nagamine. Nice to meet you. So again, I'd like to introduce myself. I am working in Line Data Science Center, OAD STEAM. I'm Koki Nagamine. Ever since I joined the line in February 2020, I've been working as one of the data scientists which analyzes the line official account. So please stay with me until the end of the presentation. So this is the agenda of the session. So we have two different topics in the first part and the second part. In the first part, in the beginning, now I'd like to talk about the line official accounts and then the issues with this product. And then after that, as a first part, I'd like to talk about the different initiatives that we did in order to solve this problem. And in the second part, I'd like to talk about the improvement cases for the line sticker delivery from the technical point of view. And so the first part is the more related to the product management, and the latter half is more technical topic. So before going into that, I'd like to explain the line official account first. So line official account is provided by Line for the services provided by the corporates and the stores and Line for the business purposes. So different from the personal account. Of course, we support the one-to-one message delivery, but then you can send the messages to all the friends or all the followers, or you can even receive the phone from the followers, or you can send a message via external API. So we support the communication between the account owners and the followers. So we provide such functionalities. And so when we say OA in the presentation, it means Line Official Account. So for this Line Official Account, it has been facing one big issue. That is, for the many users, there are too many messages sent from the Line public account. It's too much. So this is not only about the sense of or feeling, God's feeling of the Line public account related person, but it's actually proved qualitatively and quantitatively. So please look at the pie charts. This is a part of the survey that we ran in the past. In this survey, so we investigated the quality and quantity of the messages from the Line public account. And on your left, so in this pie chart, for the quantity, like over 75% of the users feel that there are too many messages. And on your right, like over 50% of users feel that messages themselves are somewhat useful. So that means the many of the users have more problem with the amount of the messages rather than the quality. And also, it is shown in the reaction by the users. These two charts show the actions like open or click reactions and against the messages sent from the Line public account, especially the one in the below. This chart shows the number of the clicks toward the right of the chart. So more messages the user receives, less numbers of the click or opening the action that they make. So that means by receiving the many messages, they will not react to those messages. So meaning like we will have the more waste messages. So in order to deliver these meaningful messages to many users as possible, then we have to reduce the number of the wasteful messages. So in order to reduce the unnecessary messages, in this session, I'd like to talk about the initiative regarding the accounts run by the line services. The accounts run by the line services are like, for example, line stickers or line shoppings. So like the account's name includes the title line. So these accounts were run by the line business unit, and so they are running based on a different policy and rules than the normal private accounts. And the number of those accounts is not as many as the private accounts, but the total amount of a message is quite large. So there is a lot of possibility to reduce the number of the unnecessary messages. So I'd like to talk about an initiative that we did for optimization of the line public account messages, and also the initiatives to improve the delivery logic of the line sticker.
In the first half of the session, we'll talk about the problem of message optimization for official in-house line accounts, referring to several measures that I have been used to solve this problem. When you are facing with some issue, what is the first thing that you think of how to solve it? In the message optimization issues of the official line account, the project members were confronted with the same questions in the initial 2019. In many cases, they say the solution to the issues can be like three of this: efficiency through the technology and reallocation resources, and improving the efficiency through the technology, and changing roles, and three of those. And then this is the title for today is a tech verse. And since we are data scientists, and we first try to solve the problem through technology. And in other words, the approach is to create the machine learning model that can determine in advance which messages are unnecessary, which should not be sent in the first place. And this project called Open Score Targeting at that time created a model to predict whether or not the message would be opened by each official line account when it was sent out to the users. And with the predictive value of this model, provided a delivery method that would allow them to target and distribute. Using this model, we were able to estimate that we could reduce messages by as much as 18% across all of the company's official line accounts based on preliminary simulations. This distribution method was incorporated into the distribution management system for internal accounts, and the changes were made so that account owners and each business unit could distribute to their own account followers instead of to the entire account. However, the total number of messages after applications did not decrease, contrary to prior simulations and our expectations. At that time, after the aforementioned system was applied, many in-house official line accounts began to see an increase in the distribution method that avoided the distribution method applied at that time. This was due to the fact that such a systematic workaround existed in the first place, and also because the optimization effort did not truly address the needs of the business unit. This is not limited to a line's official account, internal ones, But in many cases, the purpose of the SNS operated by these businesses is not opening the messages, but rather to promote the company's products and services. And it is in clicks and conversions that go beyond that. In other words, there's still room for improvement beyond our optimization efforts, and we need to fill the support to meet the needs of the business unit. We knew that we would not be able to reduce the numbers of the unnecessary message without their understanding. We were still optimistic because although we did not actually reduce the messages, we had done well in simulation, and the room for improvement was still within the range of the possible technical approaches. Also, a log of the message clicks is available, as well as the openings. Therefore, we decided to create a model that predicted clicks, following the earlier ML model that predict opens. And this is click score targeting. And the project was called OA score. That combines the openings and the clicks. And of course, that the click was somewhat more technically challenging. And while it's possible to open the messages or messages to begin with, that to open the talk room and see the message, and click does not promise this. In addition, that click rate is a little more difficult than the open rate, and because the sample size of the log of the positive examples and the clicks is smaller than that of opens, and the data itself is biased, making it more difficult for task for ML. But we did not give up while overcoming these problems, and we created an ML model to predict click, and combined this with the model to predict the opens to create the score called OA score. The score is based on the assumption that the OA delivers the message on that given day, and the users open the message and click on it. And this is a value that predict whether that client will return a reaction, such as a click. And labeling this using this OS scores produced a very good simulation result. Please take a look at this graph on the slide, and this is a result of the A/B test simulation conducted at that time. The graph compares distribution to all the followers distributed by open score targeting and distribution by the newly created OA score. And from left to right shows the ratio of the number of distributions and the clicks for each method. The silent part is that the number of delivers is in relation to the total follower delivers. Well, both open store targeting and an OS score are around 40%. The numbers of clicks was nearly 60% for open score targeting and more than 80% for OS score, both of which were more than twice as efficient in obtaining clicks. This OS score delivery is now offered as an alternative to the existing open score targeting delivery method. However, after the release and internal assignment, the total number of the messages of the line official internal line account did not decrease. With the provision of the delivery method by the OS scores and enthusiastic announcements by the project members, although there were such things, however, there were signs of the reduction in some business unit, but overall the situation was not much differences. Each division has target values based on the number of messages, clicks, and conversions. In achieving these numbers, it was difficult to accept efficiency-oriented delivery method that would result in the decrease in the total number of clicks, even in the short term. We had hoped for technological solutions to the previous questions of how to solve the problem, but we had found that it is difficult to do so.
So by changing the rule to solve the issue, so we decided to put the cap on the message delivery, number of the message delivery from the line public accounts. So that is the initiative called OA message cap. This is still ongoing project, but we are going to continue to implement this in the next April. So we are not going to talk about the detail, but simply put, based on the number of the followers of the account, we set the cap on the total number of messages to be sent. So by doing so, I believe that the Line public account will reduce the total number of message to down to 50%. But we are not giving up on the problem solving by the technology. So that is what the title of this presentation. This is the improvement project of the delivery logic for the Line public official account. So this project started because of the consultation from the Line sticker business unit, based on the OMS's cap. So again, in the second part, I'm going to talk about this logic improvement initiative of the Line sticker. So this is the optimization of the one delivery of the message by the Line public account. So before that, we did the simulation called A/B test. So I start talking about the simulation first, and we have used the OS score for the improvement. So therefore, I'd like to again talk about the OS score again. So first, let me explain the Line sticker, Line public account. This account, as you may know or may have used, this account provides the service of the Line sticker. So among all the Line public accounts, this account have one of the largest numbers of the users. The number of the users is over 73 million users, so which is the almost equivalent of the total active users of the Line. So this is a very large scale public account, Line sticker. But then including a spot and the regular messages, this account provides the Line sticker information. So we improved one of the messages, the recommended stamp to you, recommended sticker to you. So this is the recommended contents delivery using the machine learning. And so this is the customized recommendation based on the followers, different followers. Like it's a carousel-like message on the left-hand side. And also, these messages may not be delivered to all the followers, but it's been delivered on every Friday. So you may have seen this before. So this content of the message is the recommended by the machine learning, catering it to the individual users. So therefore, however, before this project, this to whom we sent was based on a simple rule-based logic. So before this project, this is the rough explanation of the logic that we used before this project. The current logic is that part on your left. So based on the date that the sticker was bought by the user and also the latest receiving date of the recommendation message, we decided whether or not to send the message. And so, but roughly speaking, looking at this table, so almost everyone will receive the message once every 2 weeks. So this project is improving this delivery logic by changing the contents. We wanted to improve the current logic, and we did so by using the new logic based on the OS core. We quickly mentioned the OS core in the first part, but I didn't explain the detail. So let me explain this again.
This slide is a cutout of AL score figure shown in the first half of the presentation. And the tabular part has been replaced with a graph. And the OS score is a combination of a predicted open value and a predicted click value, as shown in here. And the combination itself is very simple, as you see here. And for each user and the value of the opening prediction. And the larger the value, a prediction was treated as a OS score. Let's talk about the distribution in both systems. Output values between 0 and 1. So the OS score value is also between 0 and 1. As a slightly modified part, the value of the click prediction whose output value is inevitably smaller than that of the opening prediction that you can see at the left at the bottom. So once we have lumped and the value is again adjusted between 0 and 1 to make it easier to handle, or so that the distribution will be unequal. And as a result, the combined OS score of 2 is widely distributed from 0 to 1. In new logic, the user whose score exceeded a certain value, for those people, we distributed, and that's how the logic was determined. So about this value, and that is very important. Now, let's review the overview of the A/B test again. The purpose of the A/B test for this project is twofold from what I have discussed so far. The first is to see if the current logic, if new logic with OS score can provide superior delivery efficiency to current logic. That's what we wanted to confirm. And in case of where this is confirmed, and then second purpose is delivery using the OS score and how many values should be good enough. So we need to confirm that the reference value. And therefore, in the A/B test, two groups of the users were prepared, and one group was delivered by the current logic, and the other group was delivered to everyone in that group. In the subsequent verification phase, we decided to compare the result by simulating a case in which only users with a high OS score were distributed among the group that had been distributed to other users. And that's how we have compared. Now first, let's see the new logic with the OS score can provide superior delivery efficiency compared to the current logic. And please check the result. Please take a look at the table. And this is a result of the simulation. And some are part of the value of the figures that I made the changes myself. And I have summarized in the tabular manner. Left-hand side, take a look at the left-hand side. And this is a result from the current logic. And the other are the 4 columns. And that is the new logic outcome. And to the row, and for each group's user numbers, and then also delivered user and the clicked user, and also the efficiency is described here. And take a look at the new logic in 4 columns. Please take a look at the very bottom. For either of them, for either case, and over the current logic efficiency that we will be able to obtain from here. And in the middle, and please take a look at the click user, the rows, and the numbers that we obtained. And those numbers of the users is double or over double figure. That's what we see here. And from here, we can say that even though that a distribution number is increased, however, the new logic with the OS core is better than the current logic, and that has been seen as a result. Now, the questions to how many standards are they appropriate? Please refer to this. And the table on the left shows the numbers of messages delivered and the number of the clicks obtained. And respectively, based on the delivered to the everyone, and using that OA values, and we have compared the distribution. And for both of them, the horizontal axis would be corresponded to the OS score, and in the middle, and the red lines. And that under that there is a figure, and there's a threshold, that the red baseline drawn right in the middle. And so this is the numbers delivered and clicked obtained the numbers that you see here. And from here, what we can say is that if you check that click graph at the bottom, 0.8 lowered below the 0.8, but a click does not increase significantly, and that can be forecast. However, the numbers of messages increase significantly. So, based on these simulations and taking business judgment into account, we decided to use approximately 80 numbers of the maximum number of clicks that could be obtained, and then the threshold for that would be this 0.6. That's what we are going to use. And the right-hand side of the table, and the right 0.6 threshold on that row, the numbers of the clicks, and this basis is 2.19 times higher than the old logic, and then also 3.24 times higher than the current logic, and that's what we see. Now, at the very end, I would like to talk about the actual changes in the cells after this test, briefly. And I cannot give you the actual figures. However, the current logic or the old logic, how much increase that we see, and this is what you will be able to read from this table. And this is a comparison before and after the logic. So the actual value for the figure, this is not the realistic ones, however, because after changes at the end of May, so around the 1 month we have compared, and May and June, for the line stamp accounts, and there's a content changes, differences, and therefore, so the differences are likely to be caused. But beside that, using the new logic, and for the actual figures, actual values, and this is the something that we can simulate with the A/B test. For instance, click users and 2.77 times, and the sales 4.25 times, 4.52 times. So this is we can say that the sales is increased. And in the above, I have talked about the measures taken to solve the internal official line account message optimization problem, and how it's been evolved over the years. And you have probably noticed that this project has started in 2019, and still it's not resolved. Nevertheless, concrete improvements are just beginning to be seen, as you have seen the latter half of this presentation. The following is we will continue to improve our products to the satisfaction of both users and the line official account operators. So please feel free to contact us, and if you have any thanks. And with this, I would like to conclude the presentation. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much, Nagamine-san. So then it's going to be a plus talk, so that we are going to drill down the content of the session. So we will receive your questions as much as possible. So if you have a question, please, post your question from the question mark button on the screen. So the interviewer is Eriko Sato from Yahoo Japan. So would you unmute yourself? Would you introduce yourself quickly? Yes, I am a data scientist in Yahoo Japan. I'm Eriko Sato. In Yahoo Japan, we are working on optimization of the mails sent across, and we are working on similar issues. So I look forward to ask you the question because we are working on similar issues. So Sato-san, what are your questions? I'd like to ask you about a detail, the click rate OA score. You talked about OA score related to the click rate. What is the bottom of the denominator? Is that the number of the delivery? Well, in the slide, I didn't talk about that. It's for the click rate, the formula, it's yes, this is the number of the click gained, against the actually the clickable messages to be sent. Okay, thank you very much. The
OS score, and according to your logics, and you compare those two, and you got highest. And in terms of the numbers of the clicks, you kind of ranked, and then you made it equal, right? And then you have used the values. And in case of the quick, the ratio, it's not considered to be a probability, right? And then with the probability, the opening ratio, the comparison, or you got the max value of that. And what was the reason behind? And because there is a realistic reason for that, a practical reason for that, from the 0 to 1 values. And then if there's a distribution of that in the case on the system, it would be easy to handle on the system. And that is one reason. And also the click ratio, if we don't do anything, if we don't do the ranking in that case, and the value might be wider. And then even though there's a threshold, however, the threshold around that the figures, it will be pretty difficult to handle because there will be dispersion of the values, and that's why we have done the rank. We have ranked that. Thank you very much.
So the open rate and the click rates evened out, and so what was the better option to use? The actual number that we gained, the value we got is not really a probability, but using that value that we ran the simulation, and to find out that we would be able to do the good delivery.
Now using OA score, and you have conducted the test, and I have a question about it. And in terms of the indicator that you are checking, the deliveries and click user numbers and click numbers that you have monitored, and what about the some kind of matrix, the deterioration of the experiences? Have you checked that? In terms of the deterioration of the experiences, and that is going to be the users' perspectives and the block, right? The block ratio, and for that the block ratio, because the reduction of the delivery, and that was our policy in the 4, should not increase. And then actually, there was no increase. And as I got rail, what we should do was that the click numbers and distributing that everything to that everybody and how much the click number has been reduced. And that was our focus. And we have confirmed that.
Thank you. Regarding test result, test score, the 0.6 or so. So you drop the below that, right? But that means that you get rid of some of the clicks, right? For that, sticks the public account of the stick account teams accepted that result, and how did you communicate the result to them? For that, so we run the pre-simulation, and so of course, the delivery is reduced, so that a short-term click number will be reduced. We knew that, but so now we need to, we convinced that the number of the click will be increased because that we would run the optimum delivery in the long term. And so we have prepared that logic. And so we explained that logic to the business unit. And so we gained understanding from the business people. And then they accepted it.
Thank you very much. And in the long term, the numbers of the clicks increase, and that means if it becomes efficiency and the delivery is going to be reduced and the block number is going to be reduced. Is that what you're trying to say? Yes. In addition to that, of course, after you receive the message and then the numbers of the users who block, it will be reduced. And therefore, we can actually target it for a certain users for the certain contents in appropriate manner. And that will be possible. And that is one of the reasons, I think.
Thank you. Currently, the open rate and the click rates are the one that you are using. So what business people are caring about is the conversion, right? I know that there are two little levels, so it's difficult, but the conversion, well, can you think about, did you look into the delivery focused on the conversion? Yes, for the CV, we studied the possibility of the CV, like unlike the message number of the messages, the conversion. I mean, between the conversion and the click numbers, the definition is different. The current indicator is a easy one, like a sales. So like a conversion of like a participation to the campaign is another one that we could improve. But then during this project, we were not able to touch upon the conversion yet. But then, but going forward, we may do some improvement on that area as well.
OS Score project. And this is can be and it can be used in general, right? And that's what we are trying to yes. And whatever the account, whatever the service, whatever the users, and we are trying to find out the solution for that. And then also with a large number of the learning that we would like to get it, and that is the reason why that we are using the score. Thank you.
The last question from me. Going forward, the users with a high OA score, with the highest click numbers or open rate, so they are likely to be converted. So there may not be an add-on because we are just sending the messages to the user who are originally to begin with become to be a purchaser. Well, we didn't include that assumption, but by delivering the messages, maybe the conversion happens, or OA product conversions is not only one. Probably it's in a short term, conversion will be increased at least at by delivering a message than not. I think it's in the, of course you have to. There are some projects which make such a consideration. Sorry that it's not a clear answer. Thank you very much.